Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $, usual 50-50. Tickets are on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be sent. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect tag.
Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has a missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash Apping, $, usual 50-50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20, with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect tag.
We offer the best grooming products for you. Guests are natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, your style, class, and luxury. We make our products tailor-made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Grooming company. To give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah. The black gentleman, yeah. Company. To give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Kung Fu Film Focus on the new channel, Stormy B Man's Kung Fu Temple and Entertainment. This is where I will be uploading and doing live streams regarding the Kung Fu film genre for my creative process. I'm still having some glitches, but just know that as I present this particular show to you, even though it's supposed to be live across my channel, I am live, but I don't see anyone partaking in the event, and I'm not receiving it on my registry where I'm supposed to be signed in to my account. So I will, when this ends, I will upload it to the channel, and I'm sorry that you can't catch it live. Although I am live, I still have some kinks to iron out with this situation of doing this second channel. And hopefully one of my brothers can help me get beyond this, because it's becoming far too much of a headache to do this kind of thing with all of these issues that I'm running into. But today's focus is the Kung Fu film. You see, when we talk about Kung Fu films, we think in terms of the first wave of martial art films coming into the international world, what they call the Kung Fu craze of the 70s and 80s. The films were brought in the early 70s into America, and there were many countries in the aftermath that sought out to see where they could just get a hold of these films. They were very popular. People sought them out. The old grindhouse theaters in some cities allowed you to watch films subtitled in the neighboring Chinatowns. People were introduced to this fare of Chinese style of action, fighting with the hands, the feet, sometimes with knives, swords, sometimes with staff and sticks, and different types of Asian cultured weaponry. All of it, once it got introduced to American audience, they took to it with a fascination, because there had never been anything like that introduced to Western audiences, and people just ate it up. We take for granted nowadays of what that was like, but just understand that with so many people being able to enjoy this new fare, it just took the country by storm. They call it the Kung Fu film craze because as films were introduced to American audiences from Asia, showing up at drive-ins and, like I said, grindhouse theaters, people were like, wow, for a few cents on the dollar, you can go and be entertained like nothing else before. Everything from the type of choreography and action that took place within these films, the hokey sound effects with movements and blows landed. There was always some kind of severe thrashing sound or wisping wind of sound with a movement and motion, the overdubbing of dialogue, where though the films were shot in their original language, typically Mandarin or Cantonese, some of them came overseas dubbed into English, and sometimes with elements of what was being spoken having nothing to do with what came out of the dubber's mouth. And sometimes that was a riot. It was very funny. Other times it added to the action in some kind of weird way. And then even later, when films were repackaged and brought to the US, where people could actually read the subtitles, people gravitated toward the dubs because they were so much more fun. And then there were times when the dubs were spot on, but just had to find a way to translate the feeling behind what was said as opposed to just the emotions, because the dialogue was the least amount of what was important when it came to these action films. Typically set in periods of turn of the century and the Qing and Ming dynasties, the Han dynasties, all of this became a part of how these films were told and shown before audiences. There were many types of martial art films where we would see, again, combative form of fighting. Typically wuxia, which was swordplay in martial arts, was the original experience. But it wasn't long after that that we would have films that would have hand-to-hand combat action. Films like Jimmy Wang Yu's The Chinese Boxer, which in 1970 was a huge hit, and it starred Lo Lei, veteran Shaw Brothers actor, and Jimmy Wang Yu. This was a hand-to-hand combat film that had audiences just overdone with the action. Fingers stabbing through the body, blows, single blows landed with karate chops that could sever arms. It was just way over the top, and people loved it. Bountiful leaps in the air, 30 to 50 feet in the air, fighters showing tremendous martial prowess and seemingly able to fight for moments at a time without fatigue, or some kind of blow would fell someone easily because it was a special fist or palm technique. Just amazing stuff and very entertaining. There were many martial arts stars through this process. Jimmy Wang Yu was one of the very first to hit it big with the one-armed swordsman, I believe in 1967. And it was one of the first $1 million films for this type of genre. It was later followed up with Return of the One-Armed Swordsman, and Jimmy Wang Yu was a star at that point. Going forward, there would be other stars who would bound on the scene. Everyone has heard of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee entered his films into this world's pool of action and adventure with films like The Big Boss and Fist of Fury. But he was well noted for the film Enter the Dragon, which really gave him his overnight stardom internationally. But the unfortunate aspect of that film and its history and legacy is that Lee died 2.5 weeks or so before the film was released. So most of his fame came posthumously, and it was unfortunate, but it was a reality. Other stars would come along and you would see them, guys like Jackie Chan, who started out as a stuntman in the industry and had small roles and did stand-in and acrobatic work for actors and actresses. The great thing about a Jackie Chan film, once he became a star, is he would go all out as far as choreographing some of the most intricate and amazing acrobatics and perilous stunts that you could see on film. He was known to be a man to just try his best at whatever he could and give his all. And he managed to give that and then some as his career commenced. Then you also had those who were from the Shaw Brothers studio. Actors again like Lo Lei and later David Chang, Tai Lung, as Jimmy Wong Yu had departed the studios. Then you would see guys like Chen Kwa Tai. They would all adopt roles. Gordon Liu came later with his portrayal of the monk from Shaolin, the 36 Chambers of Shaolin. That became very popular. People loved Gordon Liu. He was like a Chinese Yul Brynner with his bald head. And many people just were fascinated with his portrayal of a monk, and at the same time show a seriousness and a dramatic flair for the martial arts. He was always led by his brothers, Liu Qiaoliang and Yu Qiaoyang, who were his seniors. They taught him martial arts and they choreographed most of his films. Those three men are noted in the annals of martial art film history as being some of the best who have ever done it. And some of their films are such classics of today. You cannot speak on the films without talking about the men. We saw these films go through the 70s like fire blazing through an igniter. I will say this. There were subgenres created from Kung Fu films. You would get films that would show stylistic techniques of the martial arts, whether it was the hung fist style or it was the dragon fist or panther, whether it was the snake or crane. These elements were added to further drive along choreographed fights and make for interesting set pieces when fighters would fight under certain elements. It was something that was done that people really enjoyed, and myself included. I really loved it. So with that being said, it was just something to really take heart to and take heed of. But we take it for granted today because martial arts are added in fight sequences in films almost naturally now. But before, these actors and actresses from the Far East and their films invaded our space, we didn't think of that type of creativity. There's a film that I always think back on, and it's a film that starred Liang Xiaolong, and that's a gentleman who did a lot of choreographing of fights for films early in his career and also starred in his own films. It was Kung Fu Superman, where he and James Nam fought one another toward the end of the film, and they fought for seemingly like 20 minutes. And James Nam, the character that he played in the film, was a baddie. And Liang Xiaolong was playing the good guy trying to take him down. The film starts off in a place where they're fighting near buildings and everything, and then they run, and then they're fighting seemingly out in a desert space or something, and then they continue to fight, and then they're back into a place offshore somewhere, and the battle just rages on and on and on. And it was one of the longest fight sequences in a martial arts film, but very highly entertaining. What I noted about that film is that James Nam's character, seemingly after brawling, punching, kicking, hitting, stabbing with Liang Xiaolong, seems to succumb to a heart attack toward the end of the film, where he kind of like, he breaks into his stance and he's yelling and growling, rah, and then he grabs his chest and clutches it, and he's like, and he's like having a heart attack and he falls out. But they had been fighting for a long time. And Liang Xiaolong, who seemingly, though he was hurt and had blood all over his white suit and everything, he seemingly was gonna, prevail, right? And as his colleagues came to help him at the end, he dies in their arms. It's like he was so spent from the battle himself, he also dies. That is one of the ultimate endings for a Kung Fu film that I had ever seen, where you see the baddie die and the good guy die at the same time from pretty much the same thing. It was really entertaining. But that's what I love about the Kung Fu film, man. They just find ways to entertain audiences and make people come alive watching them. So here I am today just talking about it a little bit and hoping that you will continue to want to embark on this journey with me as we discuss the Kung Fu film, because it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of history and there's a lot of culture behind it all. And I just want to say, we can enjoy this, as we can, as people who are devoted and love martial art films, But there's something to be said about these films and how we enjoy them. Yeah. But I just wanted to do a quick video. This won't be a long one. It's a quick video to talk about these films and why this channel will be important. But thank you for listening and tuning in. This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Make sure you leave some comments to let me know how you would like me to review some of your favorites, or even discuss some that you haven't seen before. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.